The Aprilia Tuareg 660, everyone. Welcome back to another video on this awesome motorcycle, which has very kindly been loaned out to me by Fraser's Motorcycles. If you live in the Gloucester area or surrounding counties here in the UK, definitely go and check them out. If you're looking to buy any new or used motorcycles, they've got loads of stock available, a huge showroom, and plenty of demos, just like this one, available for you to test ride right now. So if you wouldn't mind checking them out for me, I'd really appreciate it. And when you do, don't forget to say hello from me. Alright you guys, so this bike, as you can probably tell, is very geared towards off-road riding. Arguably more off-roading than on-roading. It's got the very knobbly tyres, long suspension travel, very tall seat height, lots of clearance underneath the bike as well. It doesn't really look like it has much going for it in terms of everyday road use. So, is it a decent everyday bike? Well, let's jump on and let's find out. Honestly, you guys, when it comes to this bike, fun factor is all you really need, honestly. But if you are looking for a commuter bike, an everyday bike, something that is streetable, but it's got this look about it, because some people are into this look, you know, they might not do much off-roading per se, but they might like the look of the bike. So that might be the thing that woohoo! that drives them to buy it. But that's the thing, you guys. Sometimes when it comes to off-road bikes, there are certain elements to it that would make it not all that suitable for everyday riding. Like long suspension travel, like knobbly tyres. Sometimes things like that can make the everyday rideability of a motorcycle quite challenging. It can make it less comfortable. You know, I mean, I did mention in our ride review about the windshield, how it doesn't really push the wind away from me. It just drives the wind straight into the visor, straight into my face. Not that great in terms of on-road usability, but for off-road riding, I'm guessing it's probably a good thing, because then you're not getting the mud going into your face. Most of it's going to land on the windshield, right? So things like that kind of make more sense for off-road riding than on-road riding. Okay, so they've closed off this road. We're going to have to hop down this way today. Okay, well, let's see where this road takes us. But to be honest with you guys, honestly, I think this bike is actually very streetable. Perhaps one of the things that that makes it a little bit more difficult to I don't know what's the word. A drawback to this is that the seat and the feel is quite narrow on this bike. Of course, it's meant to, because this is meant to be like an off-road bike first and foremost. At least that's how it has been designed, anyway. So when it comes to comfort, the ergonomic setup is very nice. So short reach to the handlebars, very upright seating position. Your feet are forward on the foot pegs. Not a lot of bend at the knee either, or at the hip. Very, very comfortable. But the seat is quite a hard seat. A hard wearing seat. That's the thing that you get on this bike quite a lot. Everything is quite hard wearing. It's meant to do good in rough conditions, alright? Where you get just a normal adventure bike or adventure tourer. That's one of the things that I say quite a lot on this channel, is that adventure tourers, sure, they're meant for on-road riding, but if you put knobbly tyres on them, I'm sure they do alright doing some off-road stuff. Yeah, they probably do alright if like less than 10% of your riding is actually off-roading. If you're doing a lot of off-road riding, those bikes will suffer a lot. This should take it like a champ. And let's be honest, you guys, like, off-road riding is not very nice to motorcycles. It's very harsh to motorcycles, very harsh to every aspect of them. So, you know, when you think about pain, when you think about kind of longevity, rust, things like that, off-road bikes or something like this would be much better in that regard than then yeah, just like an everyday adventure touring bike. Woo! But even though, you guys, this bike might not be quite as comfortable as something like an adventure tourer, this bike's fun. And if there's one thing, as a lot of you probably know at this point, if you've been with us for a while, riding experience for me is all that really matters. I don't really care about how a motorcycle looks. I don't care about necessarily how it sounds. I don't really care as much about comfort. I care about riding experience. And when it comes to riding experience, this bike puts one hell of a smile on my face. And surely that's got to be more important than comfort. Maybe. For me, yes, but for a lot of riders, maybe not. A lot of riders might be... things like comfort and ergonomics might play more of a part than riding experience. And that's fair enough, you guys. You know? But if you are looking for a very comfy riding experience, this isn't really going to be it for you. You're going to want more of an adventure touring motorcycle, really. I'm not really much of an adventure bike rider. I like sport touring bikes, I like super sports, I like nakeds. Those are the bikes that I ride day in, day out. But there are lots of amazing adventure bikes out there, and this is one of them. Genuinely. But no, it's not going to be quite as comfortable to ride as something like a V-Strom 800 or the V85 from Moto Guzzi. Those are such comfy bikes, man. Oh. Just thinking about it. Yeah, but that's the thing, you guys. Like, everyday riding, everyday commuting, like what do you need an everyday commuter to do? If you have a long commute, then comfort is probably going to be more important than riding experience, right? If you're doing lots of motorway riding, lots of highway riding, then riding experience might not necessarily be the thing that you care about as much. So I think there is a balance. Sorry, as you just felt a little bit of heat on my calf there, on my leg, where I managed to hit the exhaust. That's not something that's actually happened all that much today, actually. I think that's the first time that's happened, but it's just something to keep in mind, because this bike is quite tall. If you have your foot hanging, so you have both your feet hanging on either side of the bike, that you might get a little bit of exhaust burn, especially for you guys who enjoy riding in shorts. Yeah, so when it comes to commuting, you guys, a lot of this is going to come down to the type of commute that you have. So if your commute is a long one, then comfort is probably going to be something that you're going to care more about, which I don't really think this bike is as suited for as some of the other adventure touring bikes that we've ridden over the last couple of years. But if your commute is fairly short, like mine, you know, maybe half hour, 45-minute commute, maybe up to an hour commute, I honestly don't think that this bike's going to cause you any problems whatsoever. It's far more comfortable than any super sport I've ridden, and it's far more comfortable than most sport touring bikes that I've ridden as well. So it does kind of swing and roundabouts, but yeah, if comfort is one of those things that you really care about, this might not be the comfiest bike in the world. At the same time as well, this riding position might be quite boring for some people. I like it. It does represent a sport touring riding position, but your feet are a little bit further forward. So, like, you know, what I'm saying is that it might seem a bit vanilla to some of you, the riding position, but the riding experience of the bike, again, you guys, when you come back to that riding experience, it doesn't matter what the ergonomics are like. But then again, I say that, like, my Yamaha FZ6, I freaking love that bike. I think it's such a fun motorcycle. There's so much you can do with it, you know, in terms of doing things that you you shouldn't be doing every day, doing wheelies and stuff like that, having fun, doing hooligan-like stuff. You wouldn't have thought that bike was all that suited for hooligan-like riding, but it really is. It makes it such a fun bike, even though the ergonomics are quite basic and quite vanilla. They're nothing exciting, not like when you're riding a super sport where you really feel like you're kind of in the zone, It doesn't feel like that, but yet the previous owner, they didn't like it. They prefer super sports, which I find just I don't know. I really don't understand how you can not like a motorcycle just because the ergonomics don't suit what you like. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me, you guys. But obviously there are people out there like that, where they will only buy motorcycles with certain ergonomics. Like, they will only buy super sport ergonomics or sport ergonomics. They won't buy anything else, which I find absolutely incredible. But there it is. People's taste in motorcycles are so varied, you guys. I've got to try and cater for as many riders as possible when we're doing our ride reviews, when we're doing videos like this on these kinds of bikes. And all I've got is my things that I like, riding experiences that I like, and the different bikes that I've ridden in the past. And that's kind of like what I'm drawing a lot of tuk-tuk. It's what I'm drawing a lot of my inspiration from. It's what I'm drawing a lot of my opinions from. It's just from experience. And the fact that some people would not ride something like this because it doesn't have super sport ergonomics, or doesn't have cruiser bike ergonomics, I'll never understand. But anyway, yeah, there are people out there like that. This is not sporty at all in terms of ergonomics, alright? Not like a super sport anyway. But for off-road racing, I don't know, maybe this is perfect for off-road racing. Maybe. I know, you guys, like I said, I'm not really much of an off-road rider. I want to get more into it, and riding motorcycles like these really do make me think I need to get in on this. Because honestly, if riding these types of bikes on the road is this much fun, can you imagine what it'd be like riding them off-road? Oh, it'd be sick. So yeah, I need to get in on that, and I'm going to try and do it ASAP. But oh man, I honestly, to be honest, you guys, from my experience, from the things that I like in a motorcycle, things like look, sound, ergonomics don't play as much of a role in my decision to buy a motorcycle these days. I care more about riding experience than anything else, and my commutes are fairly short. So for me, from the position that I'm in, from how this bike has made me feel today, I think this bike is incredibly streetable. Clutch feel is incredibly light. It's got cruise control, for God's sake. So, alright, well, the cruise control is a little bit finicky, to be perfectly honest with you guys. It's not the greatest cruise control system in the world. Like, so you flick it over this way to turn on the cruise control, but sometimes it doesn't want to come on at all. Sometimes it will come on. So yeah, it's a little bit frustrating, but the cruise control is there. So even for slightly longer commutes, this bike, I think, is still quite the everyday bike. Yeah, I really like it. I really like this bike. I think it's very versatile, especially if you're looking to do any sort of off-road riding or any consistent off-road riding. You know, like it's not a motorcycle. Like for example, it's not one of those bikes where 85 to 90% of the riding that you do is going to be street riding, everyday riding, and then the last 10% is going to be off-road riding. I think that would be a waste for this bike if that is all that you use it for in terms of off-roading. If it's more of a 50-50 split, 60-40 split between on-road and off-road riding, then I think this bike is perfect for you. And yes, you absolutely can ride like a hooligan. You can turn off the rear ABS, do some power slides, do some back-ins. And if you're more skilled at pulling wheelies than I am, man, you're gonna have so much fun on this bike. And throttle ups are easy as well. You have that traction control level all the way down. The bike will come straight up. It just runs out of RPM a little bit too quickly for my liking to hold on to the wheelie, to chase it out. Doesn't really give you a lot of room to chase out wheelies, this bike, unfortunately. I mean, if anything, you guys, today's riding, I must have demonstrated to you at this point the streetability of this bike. Most of the riding that I've done in this video has been 30, 40, 50 mile an hour. Okay, no motorway riding, but still, most of the riding I've done is the kind of riding that I think most people are going to look at doing on a motorcycle on their commutes to work. On an everyday bike, this is the kind of riding that you're going to be doing every day. And it's perfect. Perfectly usable for every day. But the hardness of the seat is starting to make my butt ache a little bit. Not too bad though. Not too bad yet. I've had worse, much worse, believe me. Ask Kawasaki about that, because a lot of their seats are awful, man. I don't know why they put in so many seats on their bikes that have got no give to them. They're so hard. And they definitely know how to make nice seats, you guys. So it's a rare sight these days to have a seat that is all cushioning and very, very nice, you know? Very, very nice to be on for a long period of time. Honestly, guys, I think this bike is really good. One of the things that it may struggle with because of the tall seat height is motorway riding, highway riding, high speed riding. Top speed of this bike isn't that great. I think there's a little label there that says 105 mile an hour top speed. I don't know, maybe. But if this bike tops out at 100 mile an hour, then you're going to be riding quite high RPMs if you're doing 70 to 80 mile an hour on a regular basis. So fuel economy might not be quite as good if you're doing that kind of riding frequently. That's one thing actually I haven't tried out is standing up on the bike. Oh yeah, man. This is comfy. This is where you're meant to be on one of these bikes. You're just standing up like that. It's so easy, man. Ah, perfect. Perfect. What a bike, you guys. I really like this motorcycle. I think it's a lot of fun, and I think it ticks so many boxes. It's light, it's nimble, it's got buckets of torque, which is exactly what you want for everyday road riding. Oh, this bike is so neat, you guys. And you can lean it over a surprising amount as well. I think it's because of how tall it is. Very, very good, you guys. I think the only real downside to this bike is if you are a shorter rider, you're gonna struggle with this. I think even my wife would struggle getting on this bike, and she's 5'8". So what's that, 170, 165 centimeters, something like that in height. That's the only real downside to this bike. Everything else about it is very, very good. But accessibility might be a bit of a struggle for some people. See if I can go around this lot. There we go. You didn't check your mirrors, did you, birds? And everybody, thank you ever so much for joining us on our ride out on the awesome Aprilia Tuareg 660. This bike genuinely is very, very good. I've thoroughly enjoyed my time on this bike. But if you've enjoyed it as much as I have, then go ahead and leave that like, hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you don't miss any more videos from us, any more ride reviews from us. Thanks again to Phrases for letting me borrow this bike, showing it off to you guys. Thanks again everyone, you take care, you ride safe, we'll catch you all in the next video. Have a good one.